Hey guys, it's LiciousKid from ClimaxCombo, and we're back with another deck profile. This time I'll be profiling my Schwarz Nisekoi deck featuring many cards from the new Extra Booster. If you want to see the deck in action, links will be in the description below. The deck is blue-green, and of course it's Schwarz, so it features many cards from the Onodeta sisters featuring Kosaki and Haru. So yeah, I think the deck is fairly cheap. I think that's something to mention. If you want to build a deck for lowest rarity, I would say it's a little under 100. In my opinion, I think that's budget. And I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's fairly solid. So, just wanted to mention that. So, I think with that out of the way, let's get to it. So, first of all, 3 of these. Just me today, so I gotta look up to see if everything looks good. Okay. So, 3 of these Kosakis. 0035. On play, you must reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is not a Schwarz character, it goes to your clock. Very generic, and I'm sure you guys can guess, but every character in this deck is Schwarz, so 3 of those. 4 of the 001500 Haru, 500 global for all Schwarz characters, and a secondary ability of this card gives an additional 500 to all your characters for every Pendant of Promise in your opponent's memory. So, like I said, opponent's memory. So if your opponent has 1 Pendant of Promise, it's a 1k global, 2, 15, 3, 2k, 4, 2, 5 global. Only relevant in the Nisekoi matchup, but besides that, it's a 500 global and it's just fine as a 500 global. Next up, probably one of the best cards in this deck, 002k. On play, you can discard a card. If you do, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, choose 1 Schwarz character, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, the rest go to waiting room. Katsuki clone from Kantai Collection. Very good card. Next up, we have 3 of these Kosakis. She's a 0025, and she's Schwarz and Ki. So on attack, you could give a Ki character plus 1500 power. Haru is only Schwarz, as you can see here, while Kosaki is Schwarz and Ki. So do keep that in mind. So she can only give Kosaki's 1500 on attack. Might be a little confusing if you don't watch the show or read the manga, because they do look fairly similar. Next up, 2 of these Kosaki 00500. On play, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck and then put them back in the same order. And then she has a on play pay 1 bond for this Haru right here. I'll explain what this Haru does at level 1, but pay 1 bond for that. And the last card for level 0s is 0025 Kosaki. On play, you can pay 1, discard a card. If you do, search your deck for a Ki character, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Like I said, only Ki character, so she can only grab Kosaki. And that's it for level 0. I think that's 17, 3, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. On to level 1, we have 4 of these Harus, 1045. This Haru gets 500 for every other Schwarz character you control, so with a full field, she's 1065. Very solid. Next up, 3 of these Kosaki. It's a PR. I'm not too sure how you get it. I bought it online, but anyways, 105k. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, she gets plus 1k power, so with 5 or more cards, she's 6k. Which isn't too bad. Lastly, 103k Haru. She's a 500 in front, assist, and then she has a brainstorm. You can pay 1, tap 2 characters, mill top 4. For every climax you hit, search your deck for a Schwarz character, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So, fairly solid. And that's it for level 1. Not that much cards. 4, 7, 10. On to level 2, not much either, just 3 of these Kosakis. She's 217k. On play, if you have 5 or less cards in your deck, you free refresh or free fresh. So get your waiting room and your deck, shuffle them back together, and then if you do draw a card, so you do dodge refresh damage with this. And it has another startup ability which is barely ever used. You can tap 2 Ki characters to give 1 character you control plus 2k. Almost never happens in this deck, but something to keep in mind. Next up is this Kosaki. She's a 215k. First of all, she's a level assist in front, and then she has a ClimaxCombo with this stock 1 soul here. When you play the stock 1 soul, you can send this Kozaki to the waiting room. And if you do, play the level 3 Kozaki in the original slot she was in. So it's like a change, but it does come from your hand. So I'll explain what this Kozaki does at level 3. But so you play this, put her to waiting room, and then play this from your hand to where she was. So 3 of those. And lastly, for level 2, we have one of these Hadus, 2-1, 2K. First of all, it's a 2-5 backup. But when you use this backup, if you control a sweet character, give the battling character plus 1k power. So pretty much a 3-5 backup in this deck. So yeah, that's it. And that's it for level 2. That's 3, 6, 7. Lastly, for level 3, 4 Kosakis. 3, 2, 10k. This is the change target for the level 2 I just mentioned. But anyways, what this Kozaki does is this also has a climax combo. This also climax combos with the same stock 1 soul. So when this card declares an attack with a stock 1 soul, if all your characters are sweets, you may search your deck for one sweets character, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck, and then this card gets plus 2/5 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then it has another ability. It's a separate ability of during the start of your opponent's draw phase, you can choose one of your characters and give it plus 4k power until the end of the turn. And the last level 3 is 4 of these Hadus. It's a 3, 2, 10k. She has an ability of when she's played from hand to stage, you may mill the top 3 cards of your library. If you hit 1 sweets character, she gets plus 2k. If you hit 2, she heals. If you hit 3, she clock shoots. So these do stack. So if you hit 3 sweet characters, she gets clock shoot for the turn, heals for the turn, and 2k power for the turn. And they're all only on turn. So if you hit 3, on your opponent's turn, she's just 3, 2, 10k vanilla. And that's it for level 3. That's 4, 8. And lastly, for climaxes, for stock 1 soul, for pants. That's it. And obviously we don't run the pants combo. So how I play the deck level by level. Level 0 is fairly straightforward. You just use these. Use this and this to beat things up. These are your main beaters for level 0. Definitely try to get one of these Hadus in the back because it's a 500 global. So mainly just use a combination of these cards. Let me check if everything looks good. Yep. Okay. So use these to beat things up. Try to get one of these in the back. Utility card, utility card. This card is amazing all stages of the game. Very, very, very good. So yeah, beat things up with these and then just use your utility level 0s whenever. Standard level 0 stuff, just try to maintain advantage. Level 1, definitely try to get one of these in the back. It helps that you can bond for it, so try to get one of these in the back. Then same thing as level 1, very straightforward, or same thing as level 0, very straightforward. Just use these to beat cards up. With something like this, she's a 1075, which is very good. And with this, she's a 107k. Most of the time, this does work out. There are only a couple games where I don't have 5 or more cards in my hand. It really sucks when that happens, but most of the time, it does work out, and she is a 106k before assist. So yeah, same thing, just beat things up with these. Maintain advantage, you know, keep a clean stock. That's it. Level 2 is, I think, when the deck starts becoming a lot of fun and a lot better. Definitely. Well, starting at level 2, try to free refresh if possible. Every free refresh you can get is very, very, very strong. You deny yourself 1 damage and you draw a card in the process. Very good. Of course, it's not too hard hitting the free refresh requirement in the deck. Of course, because you always have access to Brainstorm essentially. But also because of the 0-0 Hadu. The Hadu, you know, you can mill top 4. You can use a Hadu and a Brainstorm. Or you can use multiple Hadus and these and this in the same turn, so you can hit the condition for the free refresh. So hitting the free refresh in a Sweets Nisekoi deck is really easy just because of the combination of these two. So whenever you can free refresh, definitely do so, starting from level 2 and onward until the end of the game. It's just way too good. Like I said, the secondary effect doesn't really apply because your back row is usually something like this, and these are both sweets. If not, it's like this. And then this is key and this is sweets, and you have to tap 2 key characters. So the only time you can get her second effect off is like this. But this almost never happens. Usually you want the brainstorm in the back, so... but it might happen, you know, who knows. But mainly just here for the free refresh. But starting level 2... try to get at least 1 climax combo off with the Kozaki, with the stock 1 soul, of course. That to change into the level 3 Kozakis. It's really strong because the level 3 Kozaki, when she attacks with the stock 1 soul, you get a lot of benefits. You search your deck out for a key character, of course, which helps you prepare for the later stages. So you can help, you know, prepare, set up your level 2 more, help you grab a free refresh. Maybe you could grab another Kozaki. That way you can do it again next turn if you have enough of the resources. Or you just grab level 3s, maybe grab a level 3 Haru. You know, just set up for your later stages of the game and just really good utility. Compress yourself 1 damage, and she gets a pretty good amount of power. She gets plus 2/5 power till the end of your opponent's next turn. So she gets huge power, she searches, and she compresses you. Really solid. If you attack, search, plus 2/5. Then next turn, you use her other ability where you give one of your characters 4k till the end of their turn. So your opponent draws, you could give this Kozaki plus 4k, and then she'll be what 2/5, 4k, 16/5, 17. So she'll be 17/5 before after assist, which is just ridiculous. If you have the level assist in the back, then it's like 6/5, 7, 8/5, which is nobody's killing this at level 2. It's just ridiculous. So really strong if you can get it off at level 2. Very powerful. If you can, you know, the more you can get off, the merrier. Usually my goal is to try to get 2 off at level 2, because with 2 it just becomes really frustrating for your opponent to deal with. So try to get as much of these as possible as you can. Depending on the matchup, it can be really hard for your opponent to deal with. If your opponent doesn't have wind trigger, anti-change backups, or just or maybe something like a suicider, anti-change suicider like the Adachi from Persona or the Lala from To Love or Darkness. If they don't have like if they don't have a way to get rid of these, it can just really be difficult for your opponent to stop this. She just has huge amount of power, just searches you, and then just gains you advantage, and it makes your opponent have to either front to kill her or side and deal no damage. And then you just keep compressing with these. So a lot of benefits by getting this climax combo off. And I think this is the funnest part of the deck, just getting like multiple Kozakis off, getting multiple Kozaki combos off. I think is the funnest part and the best part of this deck. And that's why I choose to run the pants, because I don't run the climax combo, but the pants helps you get back the stock 1 soul. So every time you trigger a pants, and if you have a stock 1 soul in the waiting room, just get it back, and you can just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And it's just really strong. It does take a lot of setup. You need both of these in your hand, and you need to get the stock 1 soul in your hand. It's kind of a lot of setup, but it's not too difficult at all. With the brainstorm and with the 0/0 Haru, searching these 2 cards out is pretty easy. The most difficult part is probably getting the stock 1 soul, but that, like I said, is why I run the 4 pants, because the pants helps you make this more consistent. And I think this is the strongest and the funnest part of the deck. If I don't pull this off, I think the deck is a little boring, to be honest. But when I do pull this off, I think the deck is a lot of fun. So that's why I choose to run the 4 pants, because like I said, this is my favorite part of the deck. But yeah, just try to get this off at level 2 as much as possible. It's pretty light on resources too, so it's not too heavy either. So it's really good. So just spam Kozaki climax combos until Kingdom comes. So, and then you should be pretty good to go. Just a little tip, I messed up in my duel video. Didn't make a difference, but anyways, just something to keep in mind. When you do climax combo, so you play the stock 1 soul, choose to resolve the change before the stock 1 soul. So let's say you play stock 1 soul. If you choose to resolve this first, and you get the blue stock, and then you change into level 3, all your characters don't gain the plus 1 soul, because let's say you play this, you choose to resolve this, plus 1 soul, this gets removed, and now this doesn't gain the plus 1 soul, so this misses out on the plus 1 soul. So do keep in mind when you do use the Climax combo, resolve the change first, then get the choose to resolve this, and now they all get the plus 1 soul. So yeah, do it in that order. Kosaki, then soul, or then climax, because you can get more soul that way. But yeah, that's it for level 2. Change, free refresh, and that's it. And then level 3, same thing. You know, if you get climax combo at level 3 with Kosaki, that's still really good because you, like I said, you still heal or you still compress, search, and yeah, and gain huge power. So it's still really good at level 3. But starting at level 3, you have access to the Harus. Haru is, to be honest, she's okay. Not the greatest level 3, but the Sweets build doesn't have much choice. On play, you mill 3. If you hit 3, that's fantastic. She heals, she clock shoots, and she has huge power. Really, really strong when you mill 3. But to be honest, you really shouldn't be expecting to mill the 3. I would say 80% of the time, I don't mill 3 Sweets character. That's just because, you know, at level 3, you should be compressed. And if you're compressed, it's really hard to mill 3 characters in a row. And the deck can compress pretty well using these, and using the stock 1 soul, and using your efficient 1-0s. The deck can compress really well, so it's kind of counterintuitive having a card that depends on you not having a lot of compress to be powerful. A little, yeah, like I said, it's kind of dumb and anti-synergy. But what can you do? But still, it's a really fun card. If you do mill the 3 characters, it's really bonkers and kind of OP. But most of the time, I hit 2 or 1 character. I've never hit 0 characters, so at least that's cool. But I've never hit 0. But you know, it's possible. Half the time, Haru kind of messes me up just because, like I said, I hit like 2 climaxes a lot, or just 1 climax a lot. So most of the time, you shouldn't expect to hit 3 characters when you use this, unless you know like you're out 8 climaxes. Then it's really strong. But like I said, 80% of the time, she doesn't get the clock shoot. But when she does, it's a lot of fun and it's pretty hype. But still, use Haru in conjunction with Kosaki. You don't have much choice. She's your only healer / pseudo game ender. So use these wisely. Of course, to make this a little more easier, use it in conjunction with the 0/0 Kosaki. Because the Kosaki, when she's played from hand to stage, you look at top 2 cards of your library and then put them back in the same order. So since you know what the top 2 cards are, if they're both characters, you can at least guarantee that she's going to heal. But if they're both like climaxes, of course, you know, pray it out and brainstorm, and then after you search, you know, try your luck again. So with the Kosaki, just try to play the Kosaki before the Haru. Try to make it a little easier on yourself. Of course, you can't look at top 3, so you can't guarantee it. But like I said, it just helps a little bit. So yeah, you can try doing that. But yeah, to be honest, that's it for level 3. Just, you know, free refresh becomes even easier at level 3 because you have this, and this now. So at level 3, free refreshing becomes that much more easier. Just the stock issues it's just stock issues at that point. But yeah, just level 3, free refresh, kill them with these 2, pray to RNGesus that Haru mills 3 characters. And that's how I play the deck level by level. On to a couple alternatives. The first one I highly recommend, and the first one that I see most Sweet decks run, if not all Sweet decks run, is this combo right here. This is the New Life Haru and combos with the gold bar. So what this does is it has 2 climax combos with the gold bar. On attack, your opponent cannot use events until the end of their next turn. And also, it has another climax combo of when you attack with the gold bar, you can pay 1. If you do, you look at when you pay 1 with the gold bar, she gets plus 3k power and the following ability. When it reverses your opponent's character in battle, you can choose 1 card, your clock, add it to your hand, then clock yourself 1 damage. So with the gold bar, she's a 1075, 1085 because of the gold bar, and with 2 500 in the back assist, like something like this. She's usually 1095, which is a pretty good number to hit at level 1. So this is a really solid combo. You can generate your advantage. The gold bar itself is really easy to get, and you choose something in your clock and you add it to your hand. So it's a really good card. To me, I just personally opted to run the pants and the. I've tried this and it's really good. Like, it makes your level 1 game better because you could hit higher numbers. And at level 3 against certain sets, it's really relevant, like stopping anti-change backups. Or just, not anti-change, anti-damage backups. So it's really relevant in some matchups. But I just personally chose to run this. Because like I said, if I don't get the Climax combo off, I personally think the deck's a little lacking and a little boring. So like I said, I wanted to make the combo more consistent. So I wanted to run 4 pants. And if you're not running the gold bar, then there's no point in this Haru. She's a really bad card without the Climax combo. So I just chose to scrap these two, and I chose to run these. But like I said, it's a really good Climax combo. So this is like what I see most players run, and for very good reasons. Really good, makes your level 1 game a little better, gives you a good gold bar, gives you a good combo, lets you hit high powers, and lets you get a card from a clock added to your hand. So really, really good. But I personally just chose to run this. If you don't own any of these PRs, or if you just like Haru more, or you just want to get this Climax combo off, by all means, try it out, and or you could just run it. It's really good, so you know you can't go wrong with this combo. Next up, we have one of these. It's a 2/1/8K. On attack, if all your characters are sweets, and the character opposite of this is a level 3, then this card gets plus 3k power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So if you're fighting a level 3, if all your characters are sweets, which is going to happen in this build, it's 11k. So it's not too bad. Oh, there's a lot of cards like these now. It's good, but I don't find enough space for this card in the deck, and I think it's a little unnecessary. I think the Kosakis are just fine, but still, if you want to run 1 or 2 of these, you can definitely do so because it's definitely a solid card. Next up, one of these Kosakis, Haru, my bad. One of these Harus, 10445. She has Clock Encore, and every time another sweet character attacks, she gets plus 1k for the turn. So if both your characters attack, she's a 1065 before assist, which is fairly solid. Mainly just here for the Clock Encore, because the deck's level 1 is okay, but it doesn't like have Clock Encore, Hand Encore, and there's only 7 beaters in this build. So if you run out of like 1-0 beaters, then you can be in kind of a pickle. So maybe having something like Clock Encore could be pretty good. So definitely a solid card if you want to run 1 or 2 of these just because you're or 1, 2, or 3 of these because you're lacking in resources, or you just find it like you can't maintain advantage enough against an opponent. You can choose to run a couple of these because it's really solid. And lastly, the last card I'm going to talk about is this. Man, what's her name? I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. It's Haru's friend, but she's a solid card. So first of all, she has a pay 1 bond for the New Life Haru I just talked about. That works with the gold bar. Pay 1 bond for this. And she has another ability of on play, you can pay 1, discard a card. If you do, search your deck for a Sweets character, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So really solid. Better than this, essentially, because this Kosaki only grabs key characters. So she can only grab Kosakis. However, this one grabs Sweets, so she can grab Haru and Kosaki, so she can grab everything from the deck. However, the downside with this card is that she's camera trait. She's not Sweets, so she doesn't synergize with the rest of the set, and I think that's really stupid. But I mean, what can you do? So that's the big reason why I don't run this, because it's not Sweets. So if you have like, if you Climax combo with this, then you can't do it because you need a full field of sweet characters to do the Climax combo. So, but you can play around that, but I'm just like, that's just one example how this card might screw you up. But the biggest reason why I choose not to run this is because of Haru. Because you play Haru, you mill the 3. If you hit like 2 sweet characters, and then you mill this, you don't get the clock shoot. However, if this was this card, then you would have got the clock shoot, you know? So this is the reason why I don't run this card, because it doesn't work well with the level 3 Haru. With the level 3, it's hard enough getting 3 characters off with Haru. This makes it all that much more difficult. And like every character Haru hits, she becomes that much more powerful. So you want to increase the chances of Haru going off as much as possible. And this doesn't really help with that. But I mean, if you're careful enough, you can play around this. Like if you trigger this, you're not gonna mill it. If you're careful then like you might be able to play around this, but you know, that's why I choose not to run this, because it's camera trait and it doesn't work well with the level 3 Hadu. So some friend, huh? Doesn't work well with the level 3. Bad friend. No, I'm just kidding. She's cute. But yeah. But if you want to run this, you can run one of these. I don't think it's a bad card at all. Just be a bit careful with this and just keep in mind it can screw you up. But if you want to run one, I would only recommend 1. 2, I think is pushing it. Don't run 3 or 4. I think that's really bad. Just run. I would recommend 1, but you can go 2. And that's it for this deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I really like this deck. I think it's a ton of fun. I really just enjoy climax comboing with Kozaki all day, every day, and making it really impossible for my opponent to deal with. And like I said, I think the deck is fairly cheap. It's a little under $100. Lowest rarity probably a little under 100, and it's solid. It's pretty solid all levels, and it's a lot of fun. And Hadu is really cute. So if you like the Onodera sisters, or you're just looking for like a somewhat cheap and a pretty damn solid deck, and that's a lot of fun, I highly recommend Schwarz Nisekoi because I absolutely love the deck. And yeah, I think that's all I have for this video, guys. If you have any questions or comments below, of course, do leave them in the comment section below. And until next time, guys.